What's up, YouTube? Euchre back again, and this time I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. In preparation for each set, I read every single unit ability, what they do, what the traits do, and for set 6, what each augment does. Now I'm going to do it live on stream and here on the YouTube to let y'all know the kind of prep that, at least that I put into each set, so that I understand what each unit's going to do, what types of compositions I can put together, and generally just understand things right away. One example of a time that a lot of people didn't do this is last set in set 6 when Janna came out. Nobody knew for almost a month, if they didn't read the abilities, that Janna's heal actually affected the entire board. It hit every unit on your team, and not just the units that were in the circle, the visual circle that appeared when Janna ulted. I knew this because I read the ability, but I found out a month later, apparently nobody reads in this goddamn game. Read the abilities. If you know what the game does, you're going to be a lot better. So today we're gonna go through those things, and without further ado, let's get into it. If you don't want to sit here and read every single ability with me, feel free to put it on 2x speed or whatever you want to do. Okay, also I'm gonna be talking to Twitch chat because I'm live on my stream. If you want to check out my stream, you can do it at twitch.tv/Euchre. Also, I'd really appreciate if you hit the subscribe button. It's free. Check it out, bottom right corner. But yes, Janna healed everyone. Yes, Janna healed everyone on your team. Wait, are you being sarcastic or not? Janna healed everyone. Match. Okay, so let's get into the origins here. We've got Astral. Every 5th shop has increased odds to show the Astral champions. Also grants an Astral orb. Your team gains bonus ability power, and it goes up by each level of Astral. At 3, you have 5 ability power, 30 at 6, and the orb value increases, and then at 9 you have 60 ability power. Orbs may contain components. I guess I'll also give some commentary as I'm going through these. Didn't know that? Alright, well now you know. Now you know how Janna works. I'm really fascinated by Astral. One thing I'm curious about is the orb values. Like, do you need to have... because I was playing a game of Astrals, and I put 6 in right before I was going to play, or right before my 5th Astral shop was coming up when I would get this orb. And I was wondering if the value would go higher if you have it in for more of the turns leading up to this 5th shop, or if it only matters how many Astral you have in on the actual 5th shop itself. I think that's something interesting about this trait. It seems like a good reroll trait. It's sort of like a new version of Yordle's. Seems interesting. Bard. Allies. Okay, this is really cool. Allies that survive player combat have a 2% chance to create a Doot. Bard always creates a Doot when dancing. Each Doot you collect increases your shop odds for higher tier champions by 1%. I've played about 3 or 4 PvE games. Bard is maybe my favorite unit. This is such a cool trait that they put in the game. I really like this. It's very interesting. The other thing I should note as we're getting into this video, and I mean, read a couple traits so far, is that a lot of things change in balance-wise from PvE. Most of the units and traits are generally going to be the same, but they might change a little bit from before live server. As I'm recording this, it's May 30th, which means there's about 1 week until it's going to drop on live server. Things are probably going to change. But for now, this is what it's looking like. So then we have Guild. Guild is really fascinating. It grants a unique bonus based on the guild units that you're running, and then those bonuses are amplified depending on how many guild units you have overall. So what this means is if you run 1 Sejuani, you get 100 health for your team. And if you say that you have 5 guild units and you have the same Sejuani, then it's going to give 200 health to everyone on your team instead of 100 health for the base Sejuani. And like it would be 120 at 2 guild. I'm curious how this works for Bard though, because 2 mana, like, how does mana rounding work? Like, if you get 120% guild bonus, but you have a Bard in, well, is it just 2 mana anyway until you get to 3? Or is it like 2.2 mana, and then you have, or I guess it would be at 120%, it would be 2.4 mana. Like, does that 0.4 carry over? And then after 2 auto attacks, you have essentially 5 mana? Does it round up? I don't know how mana rounding would work. I should probably check that out next when I play PvE. But that's something that's going to be interesting to see. But all the ones that are multiples of 10 obviously make a lot more sense. So then we have Jade. Jade is a bit confusing to me. It summons a movable Jade statue that grows in power, and then each combat allies adjacent to a statue. How does it grow in power? Does it grow in power based on how many units you have? I don't know what this means. Or does it grow in power over time? I'm not sure. Each combat, allies adjacent to a statue gain attack speed and maximum health, healing every 2 seconds. When a statue is destroyed, it deals 50% of its health as magic damage to nearby enemies. And then you can see how it goes up with how many Jade units you have on your board. It's okay. Let me think about this. So you get a buff when you're around the statue, and if you have multiple statues, I assume the overlap means that if you have a unit touching 2 of these statues, it would get double the bonus. Like it would get, if you had 6 Jade and 2 statues touching 1 unit, it would get plus 10% healing. Not sure how that stacks. But it's attack speed, max health, and then the statue deals damage when it's destroyed. This is almost reminiscent of a Zir, kind of. You get like a little statue that you can move around. But obviously, the ability is pretty different. The Zirs were more like target dummies. 12 Jades? Yeah, so we're going to get into that later, but essentially, there are these dragon units. Like this unit, I don't remember what it's called. Oh, you can hover over it. Okay, Shioyu is a dragon, and dragons give you 3 of one of their traits. Sort of like Chosen, except I believe it's always one of the same trait. We'll see more about this later, I think. But that's a bit of a preview for you. But yeah, there's a bunch of like 9 and 12 synergies because the traits with dragon, like Astral has a dragon, you can get a lot more of the trait. So then we have Mirage. Mirage champions gain a different trait bonus from game to game. I don't know all the Mirages off the top of my head. They're not in this list, but there's one that like gives you a chest, sort of like Pirates or something like that from set 1. I think from set 1. I don't really remember how Pirates worked in set 1, but I think it had something similar to one of the Mirage traits. Then there's one that's like Executioner they brought back. There's a Blade Master one, I think. There's a bunch of different Mirages, and yeah, I think based on which Mirage an individual game has, the way that you can play around this varies a lot. It's pretty interesting. Okay, so then we get into Rage Wing. Rage Wing is a pretty fascinating trait. I'm talking about these as if I know a lot about them, but I've only played like 3 or 4 games on PvE. So most of the reason I'm doing this is to learn what all these do myself. But I do know like a tiny bit about them from like watching some streams and whatever. So Rage Wing, they always convert mana to Rage. Attacks generate 15 Rage after casting an ability in Rage for 4 seconds, and then 25% attack speed. They gain 25% attack speed while they're enraged and can't gain Rage. The other thing about Rage that's not noted here is that you don't generate Rage from taking damage. One key part of how mana works in TFT is that you generate mana, like frontline units generate mana when they're taking damage. But yeah, Rage doesn't work like that. So it's a bit weird for frontline Rage units like Hecarim. Why does it say mana? They probably just don't have a different icon for Rage. But I think what this means is that Hecarim doesn't gain mana from taking damage. And I could be wrong. But I think that's what this means. Okay, but yeah, so the bonus stats, 50% attack speed, 30% Omnivamp, and then they scale with 3, 6, and 9. Something I'm not sure how I feel about this set. There seem to be a lot of 3, 6 traits so far. I guess there's not as many down here. We'll keep going. But I like it a lot when there are traits like Guild. Where it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, I mean, maybe you don't want every trait to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it gives you a lot more flexibility to run the best units and traits in whatever unique situation that you find yourself in. Revel. After dealing damage with an ability, launch a firecracker that deals magic damage to a random enemy. A random enemy? Really? It seems strange that the firecracker wouldn't go to units that are hit by the ability that's dealing the damage. Also, does this mean that Tom Kench... What is his... Oh, his thing does damage. Okay, I didn't know that. Well, we'll see this when we get into the units. But I knew that Tom Kench's ability gave him a shield, and I didn't realize that it dealt damage. Because I was like, how would Tom Kench apply the Revel damage? but it's because the shield applies damage. Good to know. Scale Scorn. If you don't have a dragon on your team, okay, so you can't run a dragon for Scale Scorn to be active. Scale Scorn champions deal bonus magic damage. They also take 25% reduced damage from enemies with more than 2200 health. So this is kind of an anti-dragon trait. If they are tanky, tanky units, which are, the dragons all have a lot of health because they take up 2 slots, as we'll get to later. They take reduced damage from those units. And then I guess any 3-star units as well. So Scale Scorn are probably really good against like 3-star 4 costs. I don't know if 3-star 1 cost will get to 2200 health. I'm actually gonna check that real quick. Let me, a brief side tangent. What's his HP? 2106. So a 3-star 1 cost frontliner, not a tank, but a frontline unit, because Aatrox is like melee, doesn't have 2200 health as 3 stars. So I'm imagining that 2 stars would though. Like, let me look at Kane real quick. Yeah, so I'm guessing 3-star 2-cost units do have over 2200 health, but 1-costs don't. Good to know, very interesting. So that's probably going to play into how Scale Scorn practically works. I don't know if you're going to decide whether to play Scale Scorn based on how many people are rerolling, but it could factor in. 35%? Wait, what? Why does it say 25% up here? Oh, this is the damage. Okay. It's almost going to sneeze there. Okay, so this is weird. They just always take 25% reduced damage from tanky units, or like units with a lot of HP. Oh, units with Warmogs are also going to not deal that much damage, but you usually don't put Warmogs on units that are dealing a lot of damage anyway, so that's probably fine. And then the magic damage scales with how many Scale Scorn you play. Okay. We'll have to keep an eye out for Diana later. I heard Diana is an interesting assassin carry, potentially. Kind of like the set 4, the Moonlight Diana. I think that was set 4. Yeah, that was set 4. Okay, Shimmer Scale. Grant exclusive random items, 1 unique item, 2 unique items, 3 unique items, 5 unique items, which includes Crown of Champions. Okay, maybe I'll pull up these items as well, because I don't know what they are. Are they in here? Let me check real quick. Are the items from what's it called in here? I guess not. Radiant Other. Oh, they are. Can I read these? Mogul's Mail. Draven's Axe. Okay, maybe we'll look at these. I gotta go back to these later. We'll put these after augments. We can look at the... Actually, I guess I might as well look at them now, because it's a significant part of this trait, right? So I'll just go ahead and read the Shimmer Scale items now. Mogul's Mail. Grant 1 armor, 1 MR, and 10 health when taking damage. Stacks up to 50 times. At full stacks, grant 2 gold. Really? That's it? 2 gold does not seem like a lot, but I guess you could do this every fight. Probably, if you have it on a tank unit. Mogul Mail. I see we have a base Ludwig Enjoyer in the chat. Like it, like it. Yeah, I watch Mogul Mail for sure. Yeah, Mort said that whoever designed this didn't know that this was that it was a thing, but isn't it? Anyway. Okay, so this is an item. Draven's Axe. Gain 1 attack damage per gold in your bank. Up to 80 gold. That's a lot of gold that you have to hold for this to give you 80 attack damage. But I guess 80 attack damage is a lot. Attacks grant 1 stack up to 100 times. If full stacks gets 10 gold and an item component. That's a lot. If you have this on a unit that's attacking really fast, that could farm you a lot of items and gold. That could be kind of crazy, I think. That could be kind of crazy. Needlessly big gem. Once per combat, if the holder is alive after 15 seconds of combat, grant 1 gold per 2 living allies, and each living ally deals 0% more damage. Wait, what? Is this supposed to be like 1% more damage? Or did they remove this? I don't know what this means. Yeah, that's kind of interesting though. Grant 1 ability per gold in your bank. 1 AP up to, or per gold in your bank. And a 0% chance to drop. Okay. They probably just don't have the percentage, I'm guessing. So we'll just ignore the percentage. But some chance to drop 2 gold on enemy kill for Goldmancer's staff. This looks like a Victor Augment thing. Oh, isn't this what was this called? This used to be like the disarm thing from like set 2. Grant X amount of attack speed per gold in your bank. Okay, so it's probably 80. It's probably the same. It's probably like 1% bonus attack speed per gold in your bank. That's a lot if you have 80 gold. Each attack has some chance to drop 1 gold. All right. Determined Investor. After dying during combat 8 times, this item is destroyed. Grant the item Diamond Hands. What's the item Diamond Hands? I guess we'll see. So you want the unit with this item to die, and then when the unit dies, it grants Diamond Hands, a Nico, and 15 gold. Diamond Hands at health and at X amount of health. Okay, we don't know what the percentages are, but it gives you invulnerability for 2 seconds? What? Okay, this item seems kind of broken, no? This item seems kind of broken. I don't know. Yeah, 8 times during 1 combat. Of course, of course. Philosopher's Stone. Refreshing your shop adds a stack to Philosopher's Stone. Each shop refresh has a chance to copy the holder and consume all stacks. Okay. Copy the holder. What do the stacks do then? Do they increase the chance that it will copy the holder? That's probably how it works, I'm guessing. Otherwise, what do the stacks do? This does not explain what the stacks do. Oh, okay. So we've looked at these. Now that while I'm here, let me do a brief aside and talk about BT and Gunblade. Those are the major item changes I'm familiar with. There might be some other ones, but they made BT and Gunblade grant Omnivamp. So now you don't need a specific healing item. Like it used to be Gunblade was magic healing and this was physical healing, but now they're just both Omnivamp. I really like that change. Okay, so back to the traits. We've looked at we just looked at the Shimmer Scale items. So let's go on to Tempest. Tempest. After 8 seconds, lightning strikes the battlefield. Enemies are stunned for 1 second and take a % of their max health as true damage. Tempest champions gain attack speed. And then you can see the amounts here, 8%, 25% at 2, and then it goes up, approximately doubling at 4. This seems pretty interesting. Okay. Quick question I'm getting. Why does Gunblade exist then? So that's a good question. The difference between Gunblade and BT is that, well, I mean, they would still need an item that is Sword Rod and Sword Cloak. So that's probably the most basic answer. But the difference between the two is still that BT gives you a shield when the holder drops below a certain HP, and Gunblade heals allies in addition to the holder. So they both grant the same amount of Omnivamp to the holder, but BT is just it just gives you that shield for the holder, and Gunblade heals allies. But that also means that I believe, like if you had, let's imagine that these item changes apply to set 6.5, because I haven't looked at the set 7 units to give an example yet. But if you had a Gunblade on a Draven, every time the Draven autos, it would do the healing for an ally, the Gunblade healing, which is really interesting. I like that. I like that they're doing Omnivamp a lot, because there were definitely a lot of times where you'd want a healing item on a carry, but then you just get stuck with like a random BT and an AP comp or something. Isn't the shield better? It probably depends on the situation. But I don't know. Healing your allies is pretty good. Because usually the shield would come through. Like, say that you have it on a backline that's doing damage. The shield comes through when the backliner is already taking damage. So they might just die through the shield anyway. But if you can heal your frontliners that have tank items, you get more effective HP. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. But like obviously BT is better if you get like assassinated or something. Okay, so trainer. Every round, each trainer feeds 1 snacks per star level to Nomsy, adding health and AP. And Nomsy's star level increases every 25 snacks. Okay, so basically you just need your trainers in and then they feed a snack. Or snacks, whatever. So my question here is, if you play like 2 Tristanas, does that feed 1 snack per Tristana? And is it ever worth it to like play 2 Heimerdingers, 2 Tristanas, 2 Lulus, and just get a bunch of snacks for Nomsy? At 3 trainers, Nomsy's ability deals 100% more damage. Okay, I'm interested to see what Nomsy's ability is. Is it in the units? It's probably not in the units. I guess we can get there later though. But yeah, how do we see what Nomsy's ability is? I might have to go somewhere else for that. Unless it's in here. No, I mean, it's probably not. Okay, whatever. We'll get there later. But remind me to come back and look at Nomsy. Whispers. Damage from Whispers shrinks enemies, reducing their armor and magic resist by 40% for 6 seconds. So this is about half as effective as like Last Whisper and Ionic Spark. And Static Shiv, I think. I don't remember how much Shiv... Doesn't Shiv only do like 50% shred though? I don't remember the exact shred. Maybe I'll look at the items later too. But anyway, it's a fairly effective armor and magic resist shred. When they damage a shrunken enemy, they gain stacking bonuses. And have AD and AP. Okay. This is kind of cool. Although I guess we'll have to see what these units' abilities do. But I'm concerned that like if one of them had a lot of repetitive damage, it looks like they don't. But if one of these units had a lot of like repetitive damage, I could see them gaining a lot of attack damage and ability power really fast. Is there a Whisper Spat? I'm gonna look at the spats again. I feel like if there's a Whisper Spat, that's kind of broken. Wait, what does Whisper look like? That thing? Okay. Okay, so there's no buildable Whisper Spat, but there is a Whisper Spat that you can get from a tome. Okay. So maybe we should keep a lookout for if there's a unit that does a lot of like quick repetitive damage. I'm thinking like, I don't know, Brand. When Brand used to like set 5 Brand when he was an Abomination Mage or whatever the mages were called then, and he would burn units. Well, they were called Spell Weavers. But yeah, when he used to burn units, like if each Brand tick of AoE or of dot of damage over time counted to gain stacking attack damage and ability power, that would be kind of broken. So that's pretty interesting. Or even like Malzahar from set 6.5 and set 6. Like if you gave that unit a Whisper Spat, that would get a lot of AD and AP. Okay, so we finished all the origins. I think these are all unique, pretty much. They incorporate some things from past traits, but then classes, they're a lot more keen to repeat from previous sets. So like you see Assassin and Bruiser, which is cool. Because it gives you don't have to learn quite as much, right? Like I don't have to learn what Assassins do. But I mean, I'll still read through it anyway. If you're new to TFT, this is what Assassins do. They jump to the enemy backline, and then when you have a certain amount of Assassins in, they gain critical strike chance, and critical strike damage. A Bruiser, same HP. I think they might have changed the amounts, but still giving health. Cool. Cannoneer. I like Cannoneer. It's back from set 5, right? Was it set 5 that had Cannoneers? Yeah, because it was like Who were they? It was Tristana, who's also still a Cannoneer, but it had like Senna and Lucian, I think, were Sentinel Cannoneers. Anyway, pretty neat, pretty neat. Is the 4-cost a dragon in Whispers? Yes, I think so. Yeah, Saifen is a dragon, yes. Okay, Cavaliers. I really like Cavalier a lot. It's very interesting. But they charge quickly towards their target whenever they move, and they gain armor and MR passively, and then at the start of each combat and after each charge, they gain double that amount for 4 seconds. So there are ways to position Cavaliers that if you line them up to be hitting a unit that's isolated from other units, they'll get this charge after the unit they're targeting dies. But if there's a bunch of units clumped up, they might not charge, depending on how far they're clumped apart. But then, yeah, I mean, this is... Oh, okay, the difference here, though, that I actually like a lot. When they had Cavalier before, it gave damage reduction. But instead of damage reduction, it's armor and magic resist. So you can counter it. When it's just damage reduction, then things like Last Whisper and Ionic Spark don't affect how much damage they take, at least as far as I understand it. But when it's armor and magic resist, obviously they do. So this is cool. More counterplay to Cavaliers, which makes something like in set 5, like Hecarim reroll. You just could never kill this 3-star Hecarim because he had all this damage reduction, but now you can. Like say there's a really good reroll Lilia build or reroll Nunu build. Now it's harder to make a really unkillable unit, which I think is healthy for the game to not be able to do that. Dragon is really interesting. So dragons are sort of like Colossus. They're like Colossus plus Chosen plus cool units. They provide +3 to the marked trait, but require 2 team slots. And I believe each dragon has a particular trait that they always mark +3 to. They also gain 600 bonus health, hence the way it works with Scale Scorn, because units with 2200 health, I think the dragons, a lot of them, their base might be that much health. Let me check that actually. Like, let me look at Deja's health. Do you need 2-star Deja to be over 2200? Oh, this dragon's a backliner though. You can see it's 4 range. But that's interesting. It's not going to be automatically over the health threshold when it's 2-star. But what about, it's also, it's ranged and it's a 4-cost. So let me look at the ranged 5-cost real quick. We'll come back to this later, but I'm just checking this for HP purposes. Okay, so ranged 5-cost dragon, well actually 10-cost, but you get the idea. The gold, the legendary dragon, also not over 2000 or 2200. I guess if you ran Bruiser it would be though. But then what about Shyvana? Well, Shyvana transforms and gets a bunch of HP. What's her base though? 2160? Is that after Shapeshifter or no? We haven't read Shapeshifter yet, but it gives you a bunch of bonus health after you transform. Interesting. Well, anyway, back to the traits. Okay, so Dragon seems really neat though. This is like the big thing with the set, right? It's Dragonlance. It's cool. So Dragonmancer. Use the Dragonmancer blessing item to choose a hero. The hero gains massively increased health and ability power, which increases by 5% per star level of your Dragonmancers. 5% per star level. Well, so this part is kind of like, you can think of it like Innovator, right? It's like when your units are start up, this bonus increases. Huh. This is pretty fascinating. I don't know how to feel about it. The thing about it is too, if there are any of these units that don't use AP very well, you're basically just never gonna make them your, or it's gonna feel kind of bad to make them your chosen. Like, I don't know how well Yasuo's AP scaling is. It's on his shield. So like giving Yasuo a bigger shield, I don't know. It feels a little bit underwhelming. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. Evoker. So this is kind of like Invoker, except it only applies to the evokers themselves. They gain mana whenever an ally or enemy casts an ability. Okay, I guess it's not really like Invoker because that was on their own auto attack. This, which is more like Bard in set 7, But Evoker is like the item that they had before Chalice, as it currently exists, was an item that had like Mana Printer Sona. That's kind of what this does. Like whenever allies and enemies cast an ability, the Evokers gain mana. That's pretty interesting. I don't know. We'll have to see how it works. But I feel like on Aurelion Soul, it's really, really good to have Evoker. But we'll get to Aurelion Soul later. Guardian. Once per combat at 50% health, Guardians shield themselves and their closest ally for 1% of their maximum health, and the shields stack. So the Guardians benefit a lot when they're all grouped up. And I think there's probably going to be some reroll Guardian builds. I don't know what carry you're going to run with reroll Guardian, but I'm just like, you can see the units are one cost and 2 cost, and there's 4 of them. You could probably reroll and hit a lot of 3-star units of Guardians. Legend. Each combat, an adjacent ally sacrifices their life to the legend, which gains 100% of their health, armor, and magic resistance, plus 40% of their ability power. This seems really challenging to use, like a really fascinating trait, because you're losing a unit. It's like a reverse fawn, but then your legend becomes really powerful. An adjacent ally. So here's the other question. Is there like a tether mechanic? Like, is there a way that you can tell which ally you're sacrificing? And the other thing is, does it include items? Like the resistances and stuff you get from items, are those part of the sacrifice? Like if you have a Warmogs, does your legend also get the Warmogs HP? Legend just gives me so many questions that I'm excited to test out. We'll have to see how that works in practice. Mage. Mages cast twice and have modified total ability power. This is really cool. I always like it when mages in a set. Units casting twice is cool, especially when you can get a spat or an emblem. And then you can do some really cool stuff. Like there used to be Mage Zillion that was really fun. And I'm excited to see what really interesting mage units there are. It seems like one of the dragons, I think it's Aurelion Soul. People have already been doing Mage Aurelion Soul, because the more that he casts, his ability increases in size and damage. So you can get Aurelion Soul to just hit the whole board really fast with a Mage Spat, which is cool. But yeah, so here's the thing. I mean, these ratios probably will change. The thing to note though, it looks like this is bad because it's making your AP go down, but since the units cast twice, like having 75% ability power and casting twice is, as long as both abilities hit, the same as having 150% ability power, right? Sometimes those abilities won't hit, so it could be a nerf in theory, but running 3 mages for your mage units is definitely better than not running 3 mages. For the mage units, it might still be, I mean, who knows how that'll affect your team comp itself, but yeah. Mystic, your team gains magic resist. I always like Mystic. Usually the Mystic units are cool as well, so I'm glad Mystic's making a return. Shapeshifter. Transforming grants bonus maximum health. 40% bonus health. 80% bonus health. Okay. Shapeshifters are cool as well. Interested to see how these work. I'm excited to talk about Nico, because Nico seems really interesting, but we'll get to her later. Spell Thief. So this is a Zoe specific ability. Zoe nabs a new ability after each round and after each cast and at the start of every round. This is really, Zoe has, I think, 4 abilities. We'll talk about her later, but yeah, Zoe's really cool. And then Starcaller, Soraka ability. This heals your little legend. It heals, yeah, really interesting. And then if you're at 100 HP, excess healing disintegrates an enemy champion. Pretty cool. I wonder how it picks the champion, though. I wonder what the targeting is for this. Swift Shot and 8 gain 2 hex attack range. That's a long range unit. And then they gain attack speed for each hex between themselves and their target. Alright, cool. So this is kind of like Sniper, but instead of damage, it's attack speed. I wonder what the base attack speeds on these units are like. And then Warrior attacks have 25% chance to increase the damage of their next attack. It's 25% chance? That seems kind of weird. I feel like it would make more sense if they were going to do a 25% chance to just make it once every 4 auto attacks. Because 25% chance makes it so random. Maybe this will change, or maybe this isn't how it works anymore. But if it's 25%, I don't know. That feels a little bit weird, as opposed to just having it like once every 4 auto attacks. But you can see the damage modifier. People are going to like this a lot probably, because it's got Yasuo, Yone, also Shen. Which one of these is Shen? There's Shen, and then Olaf and stuff. Okay, pretty cool. Question. Wait, there's a mistake in Starcaller. What do you think's the mistake? What do you mean? What do you mean? Pause a second, wait for that question, and then I'm going to move on to the units, because we've gone through every single ability. Oh, oops. Or not ability. We've gone through every single trait. Okay, I'll come back to that if you have a clarification. Oh, when you're at 100? I mean, yeah, when you're at 100 and get a Soraka, the ult will kill 2 units? Yeah, it could be. Oh, yeah, I think that's what it's saying. Oh, I don't think I understood that, though. So, like, if you're at 100 HP, the 2 health that would have gone to your little legend instead disintegrates 2 enemy units. And if it's 2-star, then it would be 3 enemy units. And obviously, 75 enemy units if it's 3-star. Interesting. I could see that. That would make a lot of sense. But I still have the same question, though. Like, how does the targeting work? Is it just a random enemy unit? Because then, I don't know. If it's a random enemy unit, that feels a bit weird. Because if it just randomly decides that it's going to disintegrate your carry, you just get screwed. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they'll make targeting to where it goes like the lowest HP unit. I think that might be cool. Because just random, if it disintegrates your carry and it's literally just RNG, it feels pretty bad. Okay, so we've gone through the traits. Let's move on to the units. I pulled out all the 1-cost units, so I don't have to click through, but I forgot to do the other costs, so we'll have to do that later. Well, starting off with Aatrox. He's a Shimmer Scale Warrior, so we already been through these abilities. Deathbringer Strike. Aatrox strikes his target for X amount of damage, physical damage, and... So it scales... Oh, so it's just a portion of his attack damage is the scaling. So it's 300, 305, 310% of the attack damage, and then heals himself, and that scales with AP. Okay. It looks like it's 300% of his total attack damage, not his base attack damage. All right. Pretty cool. Maybe I should spend some time looking at the base stats, but that's probably like the most boring, the most boring part of doing this learning. I might just not. But yeah, I think ideally if you knew every unit's base stats, sometimes that can be helpful for you, especially as we get later on when there's all the things where units like Legend and I think Legend and Nico, where units can copy other units' resistances. It's helpful to know base resistances, base HP. Yeah, that's helpful knowledge to have. That can be helpful knowledge to have, but I don't think I'm going to memorize it all by reading it once, so I'll probably just skip it and just read the abilities. But yeah, sometimes when you're in game, there's definitely going to be times where you should check that out. Ezreal fires an energy bolt towards his target. First enemy hit takes X amount of damage and grants Ezreal 20% bonus attack speed, stacking up to 5 times. So now Ezreal only has AP scalings. Instead of last set where this was an AD scaling and this was an AP scaling, now it's just both AP scalings. I mean, I'm fine with it. I think, I don't know, it feels like it makes Ezreal a decent amount less flexible as an early game carry, but I guess it's fine. I didn't see people do what I used to do with Ezreal as much as I did, which was like, sometimes if I had a random death cap that I was going to slam, I would just slam it on my Ezreal in set 6. because he still got bonus attack speed for having the death cap, but yeah. So but that he was for the most part an AD unit in set 6, so kind of cool to see him as an AP unit, I suppose. Heimerdinger, egg toss. Heimerdinger lobs an egg at the highest % health enemy. Okay, so he's shooting this egg at full health enemies, and he deals magic damage and stuns them. What if, I wonder what the tiebreaker is. Like, if there's a bunch of units at 100% health, where does he shoot the egg? And what's his mana? 40 of 80? Oh, I need to look at mana. Oh. Okay. Units' mana is pretty important. I'm going to open the units back up and look at their mana. 50 of 100, alright. 0 of 40, okay. That's the same as set 6, and then 40 of 80, alright. And he's a... Oh, I didn't talk about Ezreal's ability. Okay, sorry, I gotta open Ezreal again, because I didn't... He's Tempest, Swift Shot. Alright. Tempest is the big lightning field. Swift Shot is the hex range thing with attack speed. Okay. Heimerdinger is a trainer and a mage. So Heimerdinger is one of the Nomsy units. Cool. 40 of 80, so a bit better Shojin user than blue buff, but blue buff wouldn't be awful on him though. Another one cost is Karma. Fires, okay, she's a Jade Dragonmancer. And, oh, so she could be a hero? Oh yeah, I guess you could make Karma your hero. Oh, Karma would actually really like the AP, huh? Because she fires a burst of energy towards her target, dealing dealing X amount of magic damage in small area around the first enemy hit. I wonder how small. Like, how many units get hit in a little AoE? By small, I'm guessing maybe it's like 1 hex. But that'd be good to know. And she's 0 out of 50 mana. She's also 4 range. Okay, range is also helpful to know about these units, but I'm not going to go back and look at it. Because, yeah, sometimes range will change as well. I mean, sometimes they'll change it because of balance reasons. Like, they changed Draven's range from 3 to 4 in set 6.5. Okay, Leona. So Leona's a tank unit. She's a Mirage Guardian. And 40 of 80 mana. Pretty decent tanky base stats. And she creates a barrier around herself, reducing all incoming damage. So this is the same Leona as the one in, what was that set? Where Redeemed existed? Was that set 5? I think that was set 5. So this is her same ability from set 5, I think. Alright. Good to know. Nidalee. Okay, so she's an Astral Shapeshifter. So she's one of the units you reroll in Astral, probably. Maybe you don't, though. I don't know. You probably don't need to. Because, like, the thing about Astral that we'll get to later is 2 of these units are mages. So it makes a lot of sense to reroll mages with Astrals. And a bit less sense to have a Shapeshifter. But Nidalee transforms into a cougar form for the rest of combat, reducing her attack range to 1 and gaining bonus movement speed and X amount of attack speed. Okay, so movement speed, attack speed. While in cougar form, every 3rd attack swipes her target for something based on her physical damage, or 250% of her attack damage. Okay. Set 1 Nidalee? Yeah, I mean, it might be like set 1 Nidalee. I didn't play a lot of set 1, so I don't quite remember how set 1 Nidalee worked. But I mean, it's a shapeshifter, yeah. Maybe it's the same. I could see it. And she's 50 mana. Alright. She's 4 range before she transforms. And then she goes down to 1 range. Alright. Sejuani is a guild cavalier. Like I said, I've only played like 3 or 4 games, but I've played Sejuani early game almost every game because you just get like 100 health for all your units. It's kind of cool. So she swings her mace wide, hitting all enemies in a cone. I wonder how big the cone is for X amount of magic damage. And it looks like it's supposed to be scaling off of AP and maximum health. Does that mean she has a damage scaling for max health? I mean, I could see that. That's interesting. She quickly strikes again, repeating the damage on her target and the enemy directly behind it and stunning them for 1.5. Okay. Wow. So if she has a max health scaling that hits twice and then also stuns 2 enemies, that sounds kind of broken, no? I feel like some comps could just randomly reroll Sejuani in them. Like if you're rerolling Astrals, why not just have a Sejuani too? At least for the early game, if it fits. Interesting. Alright, so, okay, we know what Sejuani does. She stuns units and does damage in a cone. But, okay, also interestingly, she doesn't get any tank stats from her ability. It just does damage and stuns. Because, like, past Sejuanis have often had, like, I guess I'm remembering the set 6 Sejuani that gained resistances when it dashed and stunned a target. Yeah. All right. Senna is a Rage Wing Cannoneer. And for range, 90 mana, she launches a black mist toward the farthest enemy, striking the first enemy hit and dealing 200% of her attack damage on a small area, and an additional amount of magic damage scaling based on her AP to the target hit. I've seen people describe this as like kind of like Caitlyn, except obviously she doesn't have sniper. But yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. Pretty fascinating, I'd say. Set is a Ragewing Dragonmancer. Okay. He's 30 of 60 mana, or I guess rage. But 30 of 60 for rage. Because rage gets 15 rage instead of 10. It's only 2 autos. So, interesting. For the next 4 seconds, Set gains armor and magic resist scaling with his AP. And every other punch deals X amount of damage, 150% of his attack damage. Okay. I kind of like that. So he gets tankier and then he is just punching people. Sounds like Set. Skarner is an Astral Bruiser. And he's 90 mana. And he shields himself for an AP scaling and gains 160, 80, 200% attack speed while the shield is still holding. That's kind of an interesting ability. I feel like it's kind of hard to use though, because if he's actually, I guess you just don't want him to be tanking if you want him to attack, because the shield has to be holding for him to gain this attack speed. All right. Tom Kench is a Revel Bruiser with 120 mana. And his ability is he shields himself for 250. Okay, so X amount of AP plus 10% of his max health for 6 seconds. That's cool. A max health shield scaling. While the shield holds enemy... I don't know if that's happened before. Has it? While the shield holds, enemies that damage him take a certain amount of AP and magic damage up to once every 3 seconds. So this is where it comes in, like the way that it works with Revel. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, so we're getting down to the end of the 1 cost here. Tarek is a Jade Guardian. 50 mana, shields himself, or grants himself and his closest ally a protective rune that increases armor. So it's only armor and it scales with AP. Okay, so no AoE, no magic, it's just himself and his closest ally, more armor. I don't know. I feel like this is kind of one-dimensional. Maybe if it was armor and MR, it'd be too flexible, but I don't know. I feel like I might like that better. Vladimir is an Astral Mage. Okay. He's 80 mana and deals X amount of magic damage to the target, and then heals, also scaling with AP. All right. Oh, okay. So that's all the set 1, or all the 1 costs. So now let's look at the 2 costs. Let me open these real quick. Okay, so let's get started. Ash. Ash fires a volley. Well, she's a Jade Dragonmancer 2 cost. She's 50 of 100 mana, and she fires a volley of 6 arrows, scaling off of AP, and then also reducing attack speed. All right. So Ash is a utility unit that reduces attack speed and scales off of AP. And she's also a Swift Shot. Jade Dragonmancer Swift Shot. Okay. So she uses the AP from Dragonmancer, okay. So maybe most of these units use AP pretty well. I was just thinking it seemed like Yasuo didn't, who's kind of the premier Dragonmancer. But Braum is a Scale-Scorn Guardian, so no dragons with Braum. Puts up his shield for 4 seconds, reducing damage taken from that direction by 60%, 70%, 80%. Okay, cool. I wonder how the direction works. Does it go towards his current target? It's probably his current target, or it would specify. But I'm imagining sometimes that might be really awkward if he's targeting like an assassin or something. But 60 mana, cool. Gnar. His ability is Mega Gnar, transforms into Mega Form, jumping to his target, knocking up nearby enemies for 1 second. Gnar also gains attack damage and armor, but reduces his attack range to 1. And he's a Jade Shapeshifter. Okay. 70 mana before transforming. Okay. Oh, knocking up nearby. I mean, I read this out loud, but I wasn't processing that he knocks up nearby enemies. That's pretty cool. AD and armor, 1 attack range. Okay. Okay. Jinx is a Revel Cannoneer. She summons a line of traps centered on her target. They detonate after a brief delay. Huh. They deal damage and stun enemies, gains 10 mana for each empty trap. Oh, so if the traps miss, you get mana back. That's cool. Because this is a bit concerning that I mean, it depends how brief the delay is, but if Jinx is one of the last units and then the units she's hitting just run up and dodge her traps, it feels kind of bad. But I guess she gains mana for the empty ones, so that sort of helps. But I mean, it's only 30. Like, I guess I don't know. I'm assuming it's 3 traps, and if it's 3 traps, then you only get 30 mana back if they all miss. So that feels pretty bad because she's 120 mana. But it would be probably really broken if she was lower mana, but I don't know. Maybe it's a bit high. Kayn is a Ragewing Shimmer Scale Assassin, and so Shimmer Scale is the items. Yeah, it's the items. And then 0 of 45 mana. Kayn sweeps his scythe in a line through his target, dealing physical damage to all enemies and an additional amount of magic damage to the first enemy hit. So does that mean his target then? Yeah, that must mean his target gets the additional magic damage. I'm glad there's at least some scaling in there that makes Kayn able to hold some AP. I like it when units can hold all types of items. It makes it a lot easier to play. Okay. So Lily is a Scale-Scorn Cavalier Mage. Her ability, Watch Out. Lily strikes a small area around her target's current location, dealing magic damage spread amongst all enemies hit, and bonus magic damage to the enemy at the center of the blast. So, it says to the enemy at the center of the blast. What if she just misses her target, though? Is there no bonus damage? I'm guessing there's just no bonus damage. Unless it means at the center of where she aimed. In which case, maybe there is. Kayn's traits are insane. You think so? I think they're not bad. I don't know if they're insane. Assassin, Shimmer Scale, Ragewing. I feel like Shimmer Scale feels weird. Like getting the random items. I mean, they do seem pretty good as items, but... Anyway, so okay, we've done Lilia. She's 60 mana. Cool. Nami. Nami is an astral mage mystic. I feel like Nami's traits are kind of insane. Mage and mystic. But Nami launches a stream of water at her target that bounces up to 2 additional targets, prioritizing low health targets and alternating between enemies and allies. Enemies hit take X amount of magic damage, and allies hit heal for X amount of magic damage, or a heal for X, and they all scale with AP. Cool. Nami's pretty interesting. Like, the fact that it just bounces back and forth between the enemy, like it starts at your target, hits an enemy, and then bounces back to your team. It's pretty fascinating. Okay, so yeah, we're good on Nami. Oh, she's 80 mana and 3 range. I feel like 3 range seems weird for Nami, but maybe if she was Astral Mage Mystic without something as a weakness, it'd be too broken. But yeah, if you have other backliners that are 4 range, then Nami's gonna die right after your front line dies. So something to watch out for. Kiana, Tempest Assassin. And then her ability, Kiana dashes to the best position to strike enemies with her blade, dealing magic damage in a short line and disarming enemies hit for 1.5, 1.82. She disarms people? Yo, I don't know about that. Okay, also, what is this to the best position and then in a short line? So I guess her ability goes out in a line and she dashes to get an angle where it'll hit multiple people if possible. That's what it sounds like. But yeah, why did... Wait, this... Okay, let me look at Kayn again. What was Kayn... Okay, that's not Kayn. What was Kayn's ability? Did it have a CC? No. Okay, so Kayn is only damage, but Kiana's got utility. Alright. Good to know. The assassins seem pretty cool. I usually am kind of an assassin hater because it's annoying to play against. But yeah, these assassins are pretty cool. Shen is a Ragewing Bruiser Warrior. Creates a zone around himself for 3, 4, 5 seconds in which all nearby allies dodge basic attacks. And then while it's active, he gets MR. So how big is the zone? That's kind of broken. All units around him dodge attacks? How does it last for 4 seconds? Is this not too long? I feel like this is too long. At 2-star, it's 4 seconds. And he's a 2 cost. Doesn't this seem too broken? Or is it just me? I feel like dodging for 4 seconds is a lot of dodge. We had this Shen. Was it this long? I mean, I know there was a dodging Shen. But it wasn't this long, was it? That was Chrono. Wasn't that set 3 that Shen did this? I'm gonna have to go look at the stats on Chrono Shen. Let me look that up actually. Let me pull it up. Chrono Shen. TFT set 3. Yeah, see, I knew it. I knew that was too long. Shen creates a zone around himself for a few seconds, granting all nearby allies a 100% chance to dodge. 2.535. So why is it 345? This is too long. I guess they only added 1 second, but this seems so long. 4 seconds that your unit's auto attacks don't hit? That is too long. This is broken. Maybe they know something I don't, but this seems really broken and for a 2 cost. Because Chrono Shen was also a 2 cost. Wasn't he? Wasn't this one also a 2 cost? Yeah, this one was also 2 cost. Because yeah, this is like the exact same thing, except... Okay, not only that, but his mana is lower because he's Rage Wing, so he gets 15 per auto attack, and it's 45 of 90, so it goes 60. Like it's 3 auto attacks and then it casts. But I guess the difference is this Shen had mana, so it casted probably slower, or it's gonna cast slower now. But still, this still seems broken. And more magic resist. Yeah, the magic resist kind of fake though, probably. Like, I mean, magic, don't like, not like all magic resist is bad, but I think that's not the key, the critical part of this ability, right? It's the dodge. The magic, I mean, the magic resist is fine, but it's only on Shen as well. But the dodge is for all allies in the circle. Like, that seems so broken. 3, 4, 5. Okay, Shen is concerning me, but we'll move on. I think Shen should go back to 2.53 or whatever it was. Yeah, 2.535 seems fine. But 3, 4, 5, I don't know, man. Okay, Thresh is a Whisper's Guardian. But I mean, they'll probably see it. If Shen is actually broken, they'll probably see it in the PvE data and they'll change it. Okay. So Thresh hooks the farthest enemy, dealing 250, 400, 800 magic damage, stunning them for 2 seconds and pulling them towards himself over the duration. 150 of 1. Okay, so yeah. This is cool. And it seems like this is compared to the set 5 Forgotten Thresh, which hooked later. I like him starting at full mana a lot better because you can still corner a unit to keep Thresh from hooking your carry and just stunning them for 2 seconds. Because he casts right away. The way it used to work in set 5 is that he started like 70 of 150 mana or 80 of 150 mana, and when Thresh ulted, there was no way to reliably have a corner unit like still be in the corner. So yeah, this would be nice. And it's also like, it's not gonna change the aggro, it doesn't look like, so it'll be different from Blitzcrank as well. Yeah, so it seems cool. I like this. Of the hooking champs, I think I like this version the best, because like Blitzcrank is kind of obnoxious, and that Thresh was even more obnoxious. This seems like it's like a little bit tuned down to be nice. But yeah, this will probably be in some Guardian reroll comps, I'm guessing. Tristana is a trainer cannoneer. Okay. And then her ability is fires up to 2 explosive charges, prioritizing the closest targets without a charge. And they detonate after 1 second, dealing physical damage based on her attack damage to nearby enemies and an additional X amount of magic damage based on her AP to the target. So she fires 2 charges. Why does this say up to 2 charges? Is it like random? How does this work? The closest targets without a charge. So she'll just like pop these on 2 random units and then do her auto attacks interact at all, or is that separate? I think that's separate, it seems like. But I don't know how to feel about this. I feel like I need more information to know how this Tristana works. Like, what does the up to mean? This creates a lot of ambiguity for me. Like, is there some RNG? Or does it just mean like if there aren't 2 enemies left? And does it ever fire 2 explosive charges on the same unit? Or not? And she's 60 mana. I guess it wouldn't hit the same unit because it says the closest targets without a charge. Okay. Well, we'll have to see how this works. She seems fascinating. Twitch hurls an exploding flask at his target, dealing 110 physical damage plus a certain amount of his AP in an area and reducing the armor of enemies hit by 40% for 5 seconds. So this is the same as like what is it, Whispers? That's also 40%. I like how there's armor penetration that's better than the silver augment of weak spot, but worse than Last Whisper, that they're sort of adding into the set through these abilities. Because it gives you more options if you're not able to find a Last Whisper, and you don't have the augment, to just tech in like a random Twitch, or you play some random Whispers, and then you're able to do physical damage, even if units have a lot of armor. It shouldn't be as much of a problem this set, because as far as I understand it, there's not really, I mean, there's Cavaliers, but other than that, there's not a trait that gives like a ton of armor. But if you're facing like somebody with a Bramble or something like that, and you are having trouble, or like a Stone Plate, you're having trouble doing physical damage, this should help a lot. Twitch is also really cool because he's a guild, and his guild trait is that he gives 10% attack speed. So yeah, if you just need your units to hit faster and you can fit a Twitch, kind of cool. Especially, like, this is probably the swift shot that you want to play if you're playing Zaya. But we'll get to her when we talk about forecasts. So Yone. Yone is a Mirage warrior. Okay, pretty neat. Pretty neat. And his ability, he's no mana. Okay, so good to know. Yone's basic attacks alternate between dealing magic damage based off his AP and physical damage based off 33% of his AD. Huh. Oh, this is bonus physical damage. Okay. So they have like whatever his base attack damage is, and then this is the extra that they'll do every other attack. Or it'll be the magic damage. Another unit, I mean, I really like this. It's another unit where you can put both AP and AD on him, and it makes sense. Really nice. Because yeah, the more units that can use all the items, the better in my book. Definitely the better in my book. All right, so that does it for the 2 costs. Oh, I could probably close this. Now let's check out the 3 costs. So the 3 costs. Anivia is a Jade Evoker Legend, alright. And her ability is Prismatic Storm. She's 90 mana. Summons a Prismatic Storm, dealing 3, 4, 600 magic damage over 3 seconds. Enemies in the storm have magic resist reduced. Okay, this is really interesting. Similar to how I was talking about Twitch, now we just have a 3 cost unit that does it as well. And is also an Evoker. So I feel like Anivia... Definitely a lot of ways to run her, but her other 2 traits are the ones that there's either the statue or the one that eats a unit. So fascinating stuff. Wait, you have to run all 3 of the legends to get... Okay. And she's 90 mana. Alright. What is this build I've seen where Anivia is just like one-shotting people? Or, not one-shotting people, but like she just keeps casting? Oh, is it because it's 3 seconds and then during that 3 seconds she just generates 90 mana? So then she just casts again? That's probably what I've been seeing. But I saw a couple clips of Anivia where it seemed like she just keeps casting. But no apparent reset mechanics. So that must just be what I was seeing. Diana. Scale Scorn Assassin. She shields herself based on her AP over 6 seconds and summons orbs to orbit around her. And that goes up with star level. These orbs explode, also scaling off of her AP, and refreshing her shield when the final one explodes. So this is basically the same as Moonlight Diana, except now it's a 3 cost, and you can't 4-star it like you could in set 4. Pretty cool. I like this. I like this a lot. I'm glad that Moonlight Diana's back, if in a bit of a different form. But we'll have to see how this works for her. Like, being an assassin with an ability that makes you like a tank shredder, because you do, or not a tank shredder, like resistant to tanks, but the tanks aren't hitting you until the end of the fight is kind of weird. But I mean, otherwise, pretty cool that she's back. Yeah, I think Scale Scorn is like a bit counterintuitive for her. But the shield does benefit, so as long as she's still alive when tanks start hitting her, the shield will... Like, it'll take 25% reduced damage on her shield from her ability. So that's pretty interesting. Elise. Elise is a Whisper shapeshifter. And she transforms into spider form for the rest of combat when she casts after 40 mana, reducing her attack range to 1 and replacing her ability with Venomous Bite, which she immediately casts. Venomous Bite, Elisa's next attack deals 200, 225, 275 bonus magic damage. If this kills her target, she ascends, becoming untargetable before dropping near the lowest health enemy and immediately casting Venomous Bite again. Okay. I mean, that seems pretty interesting. It's got a nice reset. Well, I don't know. It seems like the damage is not going to be enough to really execute very well. But I guess you do keep gaining AD and AP from the trait, Whispers. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see how this works. I've seen like spicy appies doing this a lot, trying to make Elise carry work. So maybe we'll see if he succeeds or if she gets a buff and does more damage. Allowing an astral bruiser, slams her idol into the ground, summoning 3 tentacles that lash out, dealing magic damage to enemies of the cone, and she steals armor and MR from each enemy hit for 6 seconds. Okay, that's cool. I feel like a lot of the time, by the time she ults though, she's already pretty low. So I wonder if there's a way to make, like, maybe she does well with like a redemption to get an extra tier and just cast a bit faster. Lee Sin kicks his target. Okay, this is cool. Knocking them back. Target and all enemies they hit take magic damage. Does it only CC the target? Or does it CC allies that are hit, or I mean enemies that are hit as well? It seems like it only CCs the target, but if it does enemies that are hit as well, that'd be interesting. 70 mana as well. So this is just like the 5-cost Lee Sin, but in 3-cost form. More mana and doesn't knock them off the board. But still pretty cool. I like Lee Sin a lot as a League of Legends unit, so glad to see him back in TFT kicking people in the head. Lulu is a trainer mystic evoker. She enchants units near to her, and enchanted allies gain attack speed for 5 seconds. Enchanted enemies are stunned and transformed into a docile feline for 1.5 seconds, taking 20% increased damage. If there are fewer than 3 units nearby, Lulu enchants herself. Okay. This is a lot of attack speed. And pretty good CC as well. I feel like Lulu is going to be really good if you can fit her into your comp. And she's a mystic and an evoker, so I feel like her traits are also really good. Yeah, Lulu, this seems like a crazy unit. Nunu is a Mirage Cavalier. Glad to see this kind of Nunu back. True damage if the target has less health than he does before the bite. So this is like the famed Chinese Nunu. I wonder if now like BT Nunu is the way. BT Nunu. Because the shield, like you want Nunu to be higher health to get the true damage and the additional 33% damage. So I hope to see some BT Nunu just chomping people. Olaf's a Scale-Scorn Bruiser Warrior. Passive is that Olaf seeks glorious death, permanently gaining 5 attack damage whenever he dies. So you want Olaf to die to gain permanent AD. Olaf strikes his target, dealing physical damage and gaining a bunch of attack speed for 4 seconds. If he's below 50% health, the attack speed is doubled. Okay. Olaf sounds like he could be good. But I don't know. The problem is you want healing on him, but you also kind of want him to die. So that he generates... so that he gets more AD. This seems like a weird champ. I don't know how this is going to work. But it's cool. I like the idea. 60 mana. Alright. Alright. Rise. Guild Mage. Rise is really cool as well. Rise hurls 1 arcane orb at his target, dealing a magic damage, which is a percentage of his maximum mana. Each cast increases max mana by 20 and the number of orbs thrown by 1. This is cool as well. Like you start at 20 mana, but then each cast you just keep going up and up and up and doing more and more damage. And it makes the damage of each orb go up as well because the orbs scale with max mana. It's pretty cool. I like this idea a lot. I'm fascinated to see how Rise carry is best itemized, like what people figure out for it. But it seems like Shojin, maybe like a blue buff at first and then Shojin would be pretty good. Maybe you just put like 3 Shojins on him. I don't know. But yeah, oh, it is interesting. Wait, so how does the AP scale? Like, I wonder how much this makes... I wonder how much AP makes this ratio go up. That would be interesting to know. Swain. Ragewing Dragonmancer Shapeshifter. Swain transforms into dragon form, replacing his attacks with fireballs that deal 90, 140, 200 magic damage, and replacing his ability with greater fireball. Next fireball deals 100% more magic damage. Wait, what? Oh, so on 45 mana elapsing, he'll just do double damage and the fireball does double damage and explodes in an area around his target. I wonder how big the area is again. But this is cool. It means that attack speed on Swain is like pretty important, right? Because, or I guess blue buff also would work. But the attack speed actually benefits him a lot because you get this greater fireball that pops off when he's in his Draconic Ascension. Alright. Silas. Whispers, Mage, Bruiser. Silas whirls his chains, dealing 200, 300, 450 magic damage to enemies hit, and applying Mana Reave, increasing the cost of their next ability by 35%. If this hits at least one Mana Reaved enemy, Silas shields himself for 450, 550, 650 for 6 seconds. Okay. It's hard to hit a Mana Reaved enemy when you have 120 mana unless you have Mage in. So you pretty much need Silas to have Mage in, or you don't get this second part of his ability. But this is pretty cool. It deals magic damage, and if you have Mage, you can get a shield as well. And it Mana Reaves. So Silas, good traits for a lot of comps, I'm imagining, or a lot of early game comps at least. Like anytime you want to play Mage or Bruisers, Silas fits, and he's got a nice Mana Reave, so seems like a cool champ. Varus Astral Swiftshot. Sends out a cosmic tendril, dealing physical damage and stunning them for a certain amount of seconds. And then the tendrils spread, dealing magic damage and stunning. So he's primarily AD to the main target. But then he does magic damage when the tendrils spread. Huh. And he's 120 mana. That's kind of a lot. And he's 3 range, but he gets the swift shot range, so it doesn't matter. Huh. I don't know. This is an interesting champ. Because are you building AD? Probably. But I guess you could build AP as well. I don't know. AP seems like it would be worse than the AD. Because AP, then you wouldn't be dealing damage to your main target. Yeah, I feel like bonus AD might be better. Well, I guess it depends if you want a single target or you want a small amount of AoE damage, but it's probably single target. Volibear, Shimmer Scale, Dragonmancer, Legend. Okay, what was Dragonmancer again? That's the hero one, okay. Volibear rages, gaining a bunch of bonus health based on AP. Rest of combat, every third attack deals bonus magic damage and some lightning. So bonus magic damage to target and to additional enemies. Alright. Cool. Okay, so that's all the 3 costs. Let's hit the 4 costs. Yeah, I don't know. I think the 3 costs are really cool. Corki is a Revel Cannoneer. Corki launches a barrage of missiles, 4 missiles at his target, each dealing 100% of his attack damage. The final missile... Wait, what? Okay, so this means that it's 4 total missiles. So the first 3 deal his AD. And then the final missile is the big one, which explodes and deals double his AD at 1 star, plus some AP damage in a large area. But it's still physical damage. It scales with his AD. Okay, so Corki is just all physical damage. Not like League. Oh. Okay, here's the question. Do these count for Cannoneer? Because if you got like a Deathblade Corki, and these count for Cannoneer, that sounds pretty busted, no? That sounds pretty busted. But yeah, if these missiles count for Cannoneer, I don't know about that. I do not know about that. Does Revel work on every shot? No. The Revel works on ability damage. After dealing damage with an ability, launch a firecracker. Oh, you mean every shot of Corgi's ult? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's a good question. You would think so. You would think it would, wouldn't you? Holy. Alright, I'm excited to test some Corgi and see if I can figure out how this stuff works. Because like, if it applies Cannoneer based on the missiles and Revel based on the missiles, that seems really broken. And he's only 60 mana. What was that thing? Oh yeah, this is what I was talking about though. Like, imagine you had a Whisper Spat Corgi, and then each instance of damage gives him more AD and AP. Well, wouldn't this be 4 instances of damage? And then Revel would also be 4 more instances of damage each time that he ults? Wouldn't that be really broken? And then you would just get like infinite Whisper stacks? Like, that would mean that if you had 2 ults during the fight, you would get, and you had 2 Whispers in, because Whisper is 3 AD and AP per instance of damage, I think. Just from those 2 ultimates, you would get, if it is 4 missiles, and they all apply Whisper, and then the 4 missiles also apply 4 Revel stacks, you would get like that's just a lot of AD and AP. Like, what's the math? It'd be like 16 times 3 is what, like 48? 48 AD and AP just from the 2 ults, not counting the auto attacks that he would have to do to generate 60 mana. That sounds crazy with a Whisper Spat. If it works like I think it would. And maybe it doesn't, who knows. More things to test. So we have Hecarim. Ragewing Cavalier. His ability is Onslaught of Shadows. He summons Spectral Riders that charge through his target, dealing magic damage and stunning enemies hit for a certain amount of time. This looks like a really cool ability. It's like big AoE. I think it's going to be nice. 75 of 120 means that it's 1 auto. It's 3 autos for Hecarim to ult, because it's 15, 30, 45, and he's 45 away from ulting. Okay. I wonder if you want QSS for Hecarim. Nico. Okay, Nico looks really fascinating. She disguises herself as the nearest allied champion, adding their bonus AD and attack speed to her own. Okay, so she adds AD and AP. She copies all of their stats except health. Okay. So she just has the same health, but copies all their stats. And gains a bonus shield. She then gains a shield. Plus 10% of her allies' health. Okay, so the shield is AP plus a percentage of allies' health. When the shield breaks, she transforms into Nico form, reverts back to her own stats, and casts Pop Blossom, dealing magic damage and stunning. Okay. This is a cool ass champ. I really like this. I do wonder though how the tether works. Like, is it the same tether logic as Yumi, for instance? That'll be good to learn. Does she copy her allies' range? If she copies her allies' range, you could just put her as like a backliner, and then as long as the shield doesn't break, like she doesn't take damage, then she could just have like extra bonus AD and attack speed and just go crazy. Like if you had like an RFC Deathblade Xayah, and then you tethered this Nico to it, wouldn't that be kind of crazy? Or even like a Corki. This seems really fascinating. If it copies range. Maybe it doesn't copy range though. Then you should just make it a frontliner probably. Does she? No. So she doesn't use the copied ult. She just has all this other stuff, and then once the shield breaks, she casts her own ult. But I'm pretty sure she doesn't use the copied ult. If she used the copied ult, that would be so broken. I believe she would not. But I guess we'll see. Ornn, Tempest Bruiser Legend. He summons an elemental that charges towards Ornn through the furthest enemy, dealing magic damage to enemies hit and slowing their attack speed by 50%. Okay, so another utility attack speed slow. When the elemental reaches Ornn, he redirects it to another distant enemy. So couldn't you position around this? I guess you would still get attack speed slowed. But it does a stun. You could dodge the stun by just making the target you don't want to get Ornn ulted the farthest target from Ornn. Okay. Ornn seems like a really good unit, but his ulti's a bit weird. Like if you want the knock up to hit a particular unit, you have to make that unit like the second furthest from Ornn and not the furthest, which seems difficult to do. Sona. Sona plays her ultimate chord toward the furthest enemy, dealing some damage to enemies and stunning them. Okay, I don't know what they're going to do with Sona, but this seems a bit underwhelming. I played one game of PvE where I hit a Sona 3, and that Sona did not even one-shot any units. Like, it's only 1,000 magic damage, and it was literally, like, it did some damage, but it didn't kill anything. I guess it stuns them for 8 seconds. But I don't know. This feels really underwhelming. Like a 1.5 2-second stun and 200 and 300 damage. I feel, and it's so much mana too. I don't know. But I guess she does have an evoker. That helps the mana problem a bit. But yeah, I feel like if they want, I'm not sure what the point of Sona is. Like, is she supposed to be utility or is she supposed to deal damage? I feel like she's not that great at either right now. Talon. He's a guild assassin, and his guild trait is the AD. Talon stealths for 1.5 seconds, flings out a ring of blades, dealing 10% of his attack damage to enemies hit. That's not that much damage. He then leaps to the furthest enemy within 4 hexes and recalls the blades, dealing that... Oh, the farthest enemy. Okay. Dealing that damage. So, this means that you want to position him like far away from the unit that you want him to ult onto? Is that right? Because it does 480% attack damage plus some AP scaling damage. All his physical. Yeah, I guess you want to start positioning him like at the beginning of the fight. You want to position him a decent distance from the unit that you want him to jump to. Alright. Okay, so now we have Xayah. Ragewing Swift Shot. And her ability is that whenever Xayah attacks, she fires a feather behind her target and 2 to 5 nearby enemies. At the end of the duration, so at the end of the 4 seconds, she recalls the feathers, dealing physical damage based on her attack damage and her AP per feather to enemies struck. So by the time this is hitting units that are close to Xayah, this is going to deal a lot of damage because all the feathers, no matter where they went, are going to pull through the enemies close to Xayah. Alright. 75 mana, which is actually Rage. So this makes her 30, 45, 60, 75. So 5 autos and then she ults. Alright. So now we're on to the dragons, the 4-cost dragons. Deja is a Mirage and Dragon, and in Mirage is 3 Mirage when you put it in. Deja's attacks deal 60 bonus magic damage and reduce the target's magic resist by 3. That's just her passive. Or their passive. I guess I don't know Deja. Yeah, whatever. Deja sends a wind blast towards the largest group of enemies, dealing 100, 200, 600 magic damage. For the next 5 seconds, Deja's attacks launch 3 barrages. Okay. Okay. That's kind of cool. It's weird, though, because this is like a ranged dragon, right? But the thing about it is... Why is it... You would think you would want it to reduce... I guess it does magic damage. I guess it's like AP, but also range. I don't know. This carry's kind of weird. It's also like an attack-based one, but it's dealing magic damage and reducing MR. It just seems a bit weird. Oh, when I was talking about their health earlier, I'm pretty sure that doesn't factor in the bonus 600 health that dragons get automatically. So that means that what I was saying earlier about dragon whatever, scale scoring is a bit different than I was talking about it, because I didn't factor in the 600, whatever. Now we know though. I think this doesn't factor in the 600 HP that they just get by default. Which means at 2-star, this is actually going to be affected by scale scoring. Okay. Itis. Shimmer Scale Dragon Guardian. So this is the item thingy. So you could probably get a lot of items by having Itis in. Itis hardens her scales for 2 seconds, reducing incoming damage. She then roars, healing herself and shielding other allies for 200, 300 for 5 seconds. Is it all allies? The shield grants 40% attack speed while it holds to all allies that are shielded. So if this shields all allies, that's kind of big. It gives 40% attack speed. Okay, this unit seems kind of good. This seems really good. Alright, cool. Shioyu. Jade of Mystic Dragon. This gives you 3 more Jades. Shioyu enters Jade stance, gaining 20, 25%, 50% damage reduction, immunity to crowd control, empowering her next 3 attacks with special effects that deal physical damage. That's a lot of physical damage. Damage reduction, CC immunity. Okay. Attack 1 deals physical damage, knocks the target into the air. Then true damage. Then physical damage to all enemies in a line and knocking them up. So this is like a Braum ult that deals a bunch of physical damage. Okay, this seems really good. 1 range, 70 mana. Oh, I wasn't looking at the mana for the last 2. Let me look at their mana real quick. 40 of 100, 80 of 150. Okay, that seems about right. Seems about right. And then this one is 70 mana, because you're going to need this damage reduction, I'm guessing. Otherwise, this unit's going to die a lot. Okay, cool. Okay, Siphon, Whispers, Bruiser, Dragon. Siphon charges towards the far, and this gives you more Whispers. Charges toward the farthest enemy within 2 hexes, dealing a bunch of physical damage and knocking up enemies they pass through. If no enemies are nearby, charges again. Huh. Oh, so just keeps charging until Siphon hits. After charging, bites an enemy, dealing a whole bunch of attack damage and ignoring 50% of the target's armor. So it's not a shred. It ignores the target's armor for that bite. Okay. But you already have the shred from Whispers. So this is going to really shred, huh? Okay. Pretty interesting. And that's all the 4 costs. Or I guess all the 4 and 8 costs. So let's do the 5 costs. Okay. Let's start out with Bard. So Bard is Guild, Mystic, and Bard, obviously. Bard sends... and Bard has the +2 mana per attack, which is pretty crazy. Bard sends magical energy towards the largest group of enemies, stunning them for 1.5 to 15 seconds, causing them to take a bunch of increased damage while stunned. If he hits at least 1 enemy, Bard dances in celebration. Oh, so if Bard misses, Bard does not dance. Alright, good to know. Good to know. Does Bard, like when Bard is dancing, does that stop Bard's auto-attacking and thus stop his mana generation as well? Probably. That seems important to know, or to factor in though. Okay. So, then we have Pike. Pike is a Whispers assassin. Pike dives towards the lowest health enemy and slashes in an X, dealing magic damage based on AP to his target and magic damage based on AP to other enemies struck. Enemies hit suffer 50% reduced healing for 8 seconds. Alright, healing reduction that you can tack in there. If Pike hits an enemy at or below 25 or 33% health, he executes them, immediately recast death from below. Okay, this is going to be cool. It's 50 mana. Oh, I didn't look at Bard's mana. Let me check Bard's mana real quick. 200 mana. Alright, that makes sense. Because that ability from Bard kind of broke it. We already talked about the Doots, right? Wait, did we talk about the Doots? How it changes your shop? I don't remember if I talked about the Doots very long. I might have skipped over that. But it changes your shop odds. So you can just get all sorts of 5 costs from it. I must have talked about it, surely. So Soraka, Jade Starcaller. While any ally is below 50% health, Soraka gains an additional 5 mana per attack. That's really cool. I didn't know that. Soraka calls down a shower of stars over the next 2 seconds. Allies are healed for 70, 125, 1000 each time a star hits them. Oh, okay. Okay. And then, obviously, she also has that thing where she heals your little legend, which is Starcaller. 3-star 5 costs will be a lot more common? Yeah, for sure, with Bard. For sure. I mean, it's still kind of hard to hit because you need so much money, especially if it's a 3-star dragon, but yeah. I do believe they will. Yasuo, Mirage, Dragonmancer, and Warrior. Yasuo shields himself for... Oh, he's only 25 mana. He shields himself for 275, 2500, and dashes through his target, slashing nearby enemies for physical damage. A little over double his physical damage, or his like attack damage scaling. Every third cast his slash deals triple damage, hits a larger area, and knocks up enemies for 1.5 seconds. If Yasuo hits only the last enemy alive, he repeatedly slashes them until they die. Okay. So we've got a bit of an execute if it's against the last enemy, and yeah, I don't know. This seems like it should be good, but I've seen a couple games with Yasuo in them, and he didn't look that good. Triple the damage? That seems like a lot of damage, no? Like if he's 2-star, that's 162 times 2.25 times 3 is like 6 times this. That's like 1,000 damage, right? That's not that bad. I don't know. Guess we'll see. I'm excited to try and play some Yasuo and see how it looks. Zoe is a Shimmer Scale Spell Thief Mage, and she does the thing with the yeah, she nabs an ability. These abilities they're not here right now, but it's like she summons an Ivern Daisy, she does a Kale ult, there's a Zoe ult, and there's one other ult that I'm forgetting. Did I say Zoe ult? She does a Lux ult. What's the other ability? There's one other ability that I'm forgetting. Kale, Lux ult, Ivern Daisy. What's the fourth one? There's one other one, but I'm forgetting it. I'm not sure. If I think of it, I'll mention it. Okay. So Alshin is a Tempest Dragon, fires a barrage of 20 lightning strikes at random enemies, and each strike deals a whole bunch of magic damage and drains 20 mana from the target. This unit seems really good. 160 mana. Seems like a really good carry. Oh, what was Zoe's mana? I forgot to see. Oh, also 120? Or, I mean, not also, but 120. Okay. Yeah, Alshin seems like perhaps the premier, like, AP carry dragon, and Aesol seems like the other one. Summons he's an astral evoker and dragon. Summons an unstable black hole underneath a random enemy. Oh, it's random. I don't like that much. After 2 seconds, it implodes, dealing magic damage to all enemies in the area and reducing their AD by 40 for 5 seconds. Each cast, the area increases by 50%, and the damage increases by 200, 300, 5,000. That's a whole bunch. Yeah, Aesol seems really cool, but I feel like right now you kind of need some mage spat on it. We'll see how it changes by live. But yeah, Mage Spat makes it really, really hit the whole board and do a lot of damage. Shyvana. Shyvana transforms into dragon form, or she's a Rage-Wing shapeshifter dragon, 30 mana, 30 rage rather. She transforms into dragon form for the rest of the combat, replacing her ability with Flame Breath. She becomes untargetable before dive bombing the largest group of enemies, dealing a whole bunch of magic damage. That's not that much magic damage. A little bit of magic damage, and stunning them for 1.5 seconds. And for Flame Breath deals 30% of the enemy's max health as magic damage? Jesus Christ. That's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. Alright. Shyvana's pretty cool. Okay. That does it for the units. I still haven't learned what Namzi's ability is. Where do I see what Namzi's ability is? But yeah, after we figure out what Namzi does, I'm going to check out the augments. And then that'll pretty much wrap it up for this thing. It's been a bit lengthy, but hopefully it's helpful. Wait, so where... Wait, trainer? This didn't tell me what Namzi does, though. Where do you see Namzi? Let me see if I can find it somewhere else. Namzi set 750. I don't want a video of it. Just tell me what it does. I guess I could do a video, but I want a short one. Whatever. Check out what Namzi does yourself. I don't want to watch a video right now. Because I want to read about the augments. Okay, I want to see what augments have changed in here and what new augments they have. AFK is a new one. You can't perform actions for the 3 rounds and then you get 20 gold. Okay, this seems really interesting, really fun. I like this. This is the same. Ascension looks the same. Assassin Heart gives a cane. All right. Astral Crest gives a Nami. Astral Crest is interesting because you can put Astral Crest on a unit and then it'll show up in Astral shops. Pretty fascinating. Axiom Arc, units gain 20 mana on kill, like Thrill of the Hunt, but for gaining mana. Band of Thieves, you can get 1 Thief's Glove. Okay. Best Friends. Your units that start combat only adjacent to each other gain 15. Oh, okay. So you can't have any other units next to them? But when it says adjacent, does that mean any hex or just left and right? It's probably any hex. Oh, so it's like... This seems really annoying. Because you have to position like you have Exile, except 2 of your units are touching. So you just have this like big circle around them with no units. It's kind of cool though. Units that start combat, I mean, it is cool. It is cool. It's just going to be... It sounds like a positioning nightmare. Like you have to move so much to move, but... Your units that start combat next to a unit with over 2,000 health take 10% less damage for the rest of combat. Okay. Big Friend. I like that. Bruiser Heart gain the Shen. Okay. Built different. Cannoneer Heart gain a Tristana. Cavalier Heart gain a Lilia. Celestial Blessing. Alright. Combat Training. Your champion permanently gain 1 attack damage every time they kill an enemy. Champions start with 2 bonus attack damage. There's a couple of ones like this that are pretty interesting. I think this works better if you're like re-rolling something though, right? Not really though, because if you re-roll you already get so much AD that it feels like it's kind of fake. I guess worst case you just get 2 bonus AD and then once you get your unit in, it's fine. But a lot of the time if you're playing like an AD 4 cost and you have combat training early, it feels weird. I don't know. Cybernetic Implants, okay, the Cybers look kind of the same. Double Trouble, cool. Dragon Mancer Heart gives you an Ash. Electro Charge. Evoker Heart is a Lulu, okay. Featherweights, these look the same. Guardian Heart gives you a Thresh. Guild Heart is a Twitch. Item Grab Bag, okay. That is the same. Jade Emblem is Ash. Late Game Specialist. When you reach level 9, gain 40 gold. That's so cool. I like that a lot. That's really fun. I mean, it's not like the most like creative thing, right? You just get 40 gold, but it's a way to get you to level 9 with a silver augment. Which I like a lot. I like this a lot. Late game specialist seems sick. Luden's Echo. A Mage Heart Gizanami. Okay. Most of these seem like they're 2 costs. Most of the hearts. Makeshift, Meditation. Mirage Heart is a Yone. Alright. Mystic Heart is an Ami. Same as Mage Heart. Right. Wait, where'd Mage Heart go? Am I trolling? Oh, there it is. Nami. Oh, yeah. Oops, I am trolling. It's right there. Pandora's items. Cool. Preparation. All these ones where you have to have a champion on your bench gain, like you have to have a champion on your bench for 4 rounds to gain these stats, seems difficult to use. Unless you already have like a pair of the unit, and then it's sitting, the one on the pair is gaining it, and then when they combine, they both keep it. Or I mean the combined unit keeps it. I wonder how this would work if you had a full pair on your bench. So like you had 2 of the same unit on bench, and then they gained this 20, and then they combine. Like, is it only 20 still, or is it 40? Seems interesting. Ragewing Heart is a Shen. Recombobulator, love that. Revel Heart is a Jinx. Scale Scorn Heart is a Braum. Okay, there are so many augments, bro. Second, these must be so hard to balance. There's literally infinite. Shapeshifter Heart is Nars. Shimmer Scale Emblem, Kane. Stand. Swift Shot Heart is Twitch. Tempest Heart, Kiana. Thrill. Oh, this is 30 health now instead of 35. Interesting. This thing looks so weak, doesn't it? That looks pretty weak. Warrior Heart. 1 additional Yone. Or I mean, you gain a Yone, okay. Weak spot. Whisper Heart gives you Thresh. Okay. Moving on to the golds. Assassin Emblem and a Cane. Okay, I'm going to start skipping over, or maybe not reading these out loud, but just look at what the unit is. Whatever. 30 mana on kill, cool. Beast Den. Units that start combat next to 2+ shapeshifters gain 35% attack speed and movement speed. And shapeshifters gain the bonus. That's cool. I like that. Best friends, but better together. Aura items that buff your team have their effects increased by 30. Okay, I love aura items, so this is gonna be sick for me. I like this augment a lot. Better big friend, blue battery, bruiser. Okay. Calculated loss is now a gold augment. Okay. Clear mind, nice. Cluttered mind, yo, this seems so cool. You have to have your bench full, and then you get 4 XP. I like that. Wait, they took out hyper rule. There was no hyper rule up there, was there? Hyper. Yeah, they took out hyper rule. That's pretty sad. I liked hyper rule. Component grab bag, combat training 2, okay. Cybers, devastating charge. Cavalier's first attack after charging deals 75 magic damage, increased by 1% for each armor and magic resist they have. Wow, that could get pretty big. That could be a lot of damage. Because they get armor and MR just from being Cavaliers with the trade-in. That could do a lot. Dragon Alliance. Oh shit. Dragon trait remains active regardless of how many dragons you have. Dragons gain 60 armor and magic resist. Gain a tier 4 dragon. That's sick. Dragon trait. Oh, this one is. Oh, this Horde and Alliance are like they're WoW references, right? I mean, I never played WoW, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's about. Dragonmancer Crest. Okay. Essence Thief. The Evokers attack steal 5 mana from their target. That's sick. Eternal Protection. One of your Jade champions would die. The nearest statue protects them and transferring its health. What?
This is so cool. How are there so many cool augments? The unit in the center of the board gains 40 AP, increased to 120 after the lightning strike. Cool. Alright. Gadget Expert. Direct damage items deal a percentage more damage as true damage. Yeah, okay, that seems like it's just supposed to be 100%, but it's got a bunch of weird symbols. Gain a shiv. Gear upgrades. Guild champions holding an item gain 35 armor and an additional 200% of their base guild bonus. That sounds like a lot of bonus. But it's only on guild champs. Okay. Mirage champions take 90% less damage for the first 5 seconds of combat. Huh. Okay. Heroic presence. Every 2 seconds, guardians taunt all. Oh, this. I saw GVA do this in like a video, and it looked pretty broken. Hot shot. Cannoneers, cannon shots burn their target, dealing 6% of the target's max health as true damage over 2 seconds, and reducing healing by 50%. Okay. Hustler. Oh, okay. Hyper roll is now Hustler. All right, and it's gold. Okay. Okay. But now instead of less than 10, it's less than 20. Interesting. Okay. When the dragon, I don't know what to make of that. When the Dragonmancer hero gets taken down, champions that share a trait with the Dragonmancer hero gain 50% attack speed. Alright. Inner Cosmic Gifts. 50% second orb. Okay. Didn't this used to be 25% critical strike chance on Jeweled Lotus? I think they took it down. Last Stand. The first time you would be eliminated or... Oh, this is so cool. Instead, remain alive. After this effect triggers, your units permanently gain 200 health, 20 armor, and magic resist, and 20% omnivamp. That's actually such a cool augment. I like that. I mean, it doesn't work if you're not going to die, though. Gain a random component every 4 player combats when you have at least 2 guild active. Alright. So this is the answer to like the scrap specific augments, right? Gain a random component every 2 player combats when you have at least 2 guild active. Wait, what? Oh. Are they just changing? This is the same thing. It's just a balance thing, I guess. Luden's Echo, okay. Mage Conference. After combat with a player, a random mage portals onto your bench. Oh shit, that's kind of cool. So you just get a bunch of mages. Makeshift armor, alright. Metabolic, crest, nomads. Scale Scorns gain 8% damage each time they start combat in a new hex, stacking up to 4 times. So you just have to move your Scale Scorns around, and then they gain a bunch of... they gain 32% damage. Pandora's Bench. At the start of every turn, champions on 3 rightmost bench slots transform into random champions at the same cost. Alright. I like that. Party Favors. Gain 1 gold for every 5 firecrackers launched by Revel champions each combat. Additionally, gain a special prize the first time 75 total firecrackers are launched. Okay. Oh, and then it's another balance issue. Party Time. After Rebels score a takedown, they gain 60% attack speed. Okay, so that's like kind of like Challenger, sort of. From set 6.5. Penitence. Enemies are disarmed for 3 seconds the first time they attack a Jade statue, or are disarmed by a Jade statue's explosion. Gain a Gnar. That's cool. So in that case, you probably want to frontline the Jade statue if you have Penitence. Personal training. At the end of combat, champions that started combat adjacent to bruisers permanently gain 30 health, increased by 20 if they survived. Wow. That's pretty cool. Oh, another balancing. Phony is gold now. Okay. Open an armory and choose one of 3 unique artifacts. Okay. Preparation, but better.
Swift Shot's attacks apply a stack to target. Every third stack deals true damage equal to 5% of the target's max health. That's cool. Reckless spending. If you purchase both a shop refresh and XP during the planning phase, Shimmer Scale champions gain damage for the next combat. Huh. Okay. Revel trait grant. Oh, Revel Unity. Okay, cool. Cool. Rich get richer. Rich get richer plus. Huh. Okay, Ricochet. Shots bounce, dealing 66% less damage. Cool. Every 5th instance of Ragewing champion damage deals 75% more damage and is converted to true damage. Gain a cane. Okay. Pretty cool stuff, all told. After casting their first ability, Rage Wings restore 100% of their maximum rage. Holy. That seems cool. Warriors' enhanced attacks deal 60% of their damage to enemies in a 1 hex area around their target. I like that. Non-whisper units that start combat next to whispers are stealth for 5 seconds. Huh. Earth's grab bag seems kind of fun as well. 1 spat and 1 random item component. Okay, 2 tome of, so now we're on to the prismatics. 2 tomes, assassin emblem, an infinity edge, and a Diana. Okay. 1 additional astral, a redemption, and an alawi. Did they make these weaker? Or like, instead of having 2 bruiser emblems? Yeah, I guess they made them weaker. Interesting. Better best friends. I feel like these seem underbalanced or undertuned. But maybe it's more broken than I'm imagining. Binary is a prismatic now. Yeah, a lot of these just give a random item, but they don't give 2 of the emblems. Cavalier Unity is a prismatic. Huh. Okay. Oh, Cruel Pact is so cool. Buying XP costs 4 health instead of gold. It's actually so sick. It's so sick. Cursed Crown. Gain +2 maximum team size, but take... Okay, that's cool as well. Alright, we got the Cybers, Double Trouble, Dragonmancer, Electrocharge, Evoker Emblem. That's pretty cool that you get a Shojin from it. There's a Prismatic Featherweights. Was there always a Prismatic Featherweights? Maybe there was. High-end shopping. Nothing new there. Item grab bag 2. Living Forge. Oh, shit. You can gain more Orn artifacts. That's cool. Oh, Mage Emblem is prismatic. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. I wonder if these are changing. Probably. Some of them are going to change. Probably a lot of them are going to change, actually. A lot of times the emblems have to get balanced based on this stuff. Or at least like in set 6 it did. I'm trying to look for things that seem particularly interesting. Oh, this is a better preparation. Yeah, all the crowns and stuff. Nothing particularly interesting. Golden Egg is sticking around. Excellent. Think fast. Okay, this one's really cool. Gain 8 gold. Shop refreshes are free until the end of this round. Traits and other augments don't benefit from the free shops. This is just the faster you can roll,
the better off you are from this augment. It's really cool. I like the idea a lot. One spat and a certain amount of item components. Okay. And they're trying to figure out windfall. Oh, maybe these are just for different balance points in the game. When there's multiple. Huh. And wise spending. Okay. That about does it. That about wraps up my look at the traits, units, and augments in set 7. Really looking forward to it. It seems like so much fun. I'm probably not going to do a video on the PvE patch notes or anything like that, but there've been a bunch of different patches. I'm probably after this just going to play a lot of PvE and see what I can learn based on what we've already learned about all the units, traits, and augments. And honestly, if you're playing PvE or if you're just looking forward to set 7, have a lot of fun with it. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time, probably for content a little bit more like what I usually do. But, you know, I just wanted to show you what goes into the preparation process that I have before each set drops. So, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.